Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Friday. This is the end of the first, not the first full week, but the first week of mostly November. And man, it's been a rocky ride, mostly down days this week. We'll talk about that and more in just a few seconds when Doug plugs in because Dave's off playing golf today. Before we do that, though, let's discuss again the one thing that you and I can control when it comes to our retirement and any of our investment portfolios for that matter, and that's risk. The issue is do you have enough? Do you have too much? The only way to know that is to take the time to analyze your current portfolio to make sure it lines up with the amount of risk you're comfortable with. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement design. Hey, we got Doug coming up next.
101.7 Light FM. Hey there, it's Doug Reese sitting in for Morning Dave on this Friday morning. Of course, it's 8:40 now, and it's our time of the morning to check in with Phillip Statler of Statler Financial Services. He's here to give us an update on what's going on in the market as we finish out the week. Hey, Phillip, how are you today?
Hey, Doug. Hey, is glad to be able to chat with you again. It's been a little while, but hey, we're giving Dave a little time off to hit that little
well-deserved
white ball. That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, yesterday, not the greatest day we've seen, but not the worst day either. We did come out yesterday with some negative downward movement. The S&P 500 was down, a little over 1% to $3,720. The Dow Jones Industrial 30 was down about 0.5% to 30, just slightly over 32,000, $32,001. And the NASDAQ, the big loser yesterday, down 1.75%, closed out at $10,342. So it wasn't a pretty day yesterday. Hopefully we can turn it around today. Today is jobs day. So I know we talked about unemployment yesterday, but today is the day where non-farm payrolls, the official number from the government, comes out. And, back in September, we had non-farm payrolls of 315,000. So they were expecting that to drop significantly down to about 205,000 new jobs for the month of October. And it came in between. So it was a lot better than expected, but not as good as what it was in September. So we came in with 261,000 new jobs, new non-farm payroll jobs for the month of October. And so that was, it depends on how you look at it, Doug. It can be good news because more people are going back to work. Bad news because the Fed wants unemployment rate to go up. So, we're kind of stuck between these two things. And so when I first saw that, I started paying attention to the futures to see which direction they would go. And they fell pretty fast from the Dow was at 145 when that news came out, and it went down to about $1 before it turned back around. It has improved some now. It's back up to about $70 on the Dow. So that's not terrible yet. And then the unemployment rate came out. It had been at 3.5 now for quite some time. We did get an increase in our unemployment rate to 3.7%. Now that may seem for folks out there to be bad news, but it really, in terms of what the Fed's looking for, that's good news, because the Fed has in their mind that we need the unemployment rate, or they need the unemployment rate to be about 4.5%. So we got about 0.8% to go before we kind of hit their magic number. And I think that Elon Musk is going to help us out there, because today is Black Friday, I guess you would say, for Twitter, because he's laying off a bunch of people. I never saw the exact number, but I saw the word slash. So he was slashed into 7,500 employees down to some other number. And I can only vision it's probably between 1/2 and 3/4 of what it had been. So we'll see what the news media reports next week as to what that number actually looked like in terms of declines. The other number that came out was the average hourly earnings. How much are we making per hour? And it went up from 0.3% to 0.4%, a little bit more than expected. So the labor front is, I would say, kind of a mixed bag this morning as we look at it, Doug. Let's look at earnings because it is earnings season, right? So let's start with DraftKings. I hope you weren't betting on them as your stock of the day, because even though they had a smaller than expected quarterly loss and their revenue was better than expected, their stock is falling this morning, down almost 18%, a pretty big drop. They are stating that at this point that the economic downturn, the prolonged downturn, is most likely going to impact the spending of their customers. So they think their gambling, people are going to slow down their gambling because they don't have the money to spend anymore. So that's DraftKings. We had the likes of Cinemark. We've been talking about a lot of the theater companies really struggling, and especially through COVID and then even after COVID. But we did have Cinemark come out and they reported better than expected quarterly revenue, even though their loss was a little bit bigger than what analysts had anticipated. But they stockholders and traders must like what they're seeing. They're up almost 7.5% this morning. And then we got some really household names today. Hershey reported they saw that outlook for their next quarter because you had Halloween in there, so they saw a big uptick in their candy sales. Their quarterly results were okay. They beat across the board there. They're up about 1.33% this morning. And then a favorite, Starbucks reported. Starbucks again outperformed what was expected on the bottom and top line. And here's a fact for them: they hit a sales record for this last quarter. The most sales that had in any one quarter was this last quarter. So they're doing well. They say it's because they invested in some new equipment and they're paying their people more money, and so they think that's contributing to their success. And they're getting a nice bump this morning as well, up a little over 5.5% today. Yesterday we talked about some of the travel companies, and we had Expedia come out and report, and they their quarterly profit was a little less than what the analysts had expected, but revenue exceeded $1 billion for the first time ever. So they're seeing, again, like all the other travel companies we've talked about, they're seeing strong demand. We've been, COVID has kept us from traveling for so long that now people are willing to pay more just to get out and get the travel in that they want to do. And they're trading up this morning 3.8%. We've got two more that are pretty relevant. We've got PayPal. PayPal, they did have a better than expected quarterly profit and revenue, but they're focused on this going forward because of, again, the economy. They feel like revenue is going to slow and not meet their anticipated forecast that they gave earlier. So they're lowering their forecast some. That's hurting PayPal stock this morning, down 5.3% this morning after closing yesterday down about 3.6%. So a pretty big fall for them. And then kind of the same business, a little different, but Block reported, and Block is, we don't know them as that. That is the company that was originally known as Square. So that, we're having the Art League Festival this weekend, and you'll see a lot of people with the little square things, and they're the reason that people can take credit cards at events like that. So it's kind of neat. But Block had been struggling this year, but they came out this last quarter. They beat on revenue and profits. They saw a big increase in their subscription-based revenue, up 71% from a year ago. And so Block was getting a real big jump this morning, up 11.5% as we get ready to go today. So some good news there across the board. And that's kind of where we stand right now as we get ready to head into this first Friday of November, and not quite the first full week of November, but hey, it is the second month of the quarter as we head into to the weekend. As we look at where we are right now, the futures have made some pretty good strides this morning. Doug, up the Dow right now is up a little over 0.5%. That's $178. S&P 500 is up 0.75%. That's almost $28. And the NASDAQ 100 is up about a little over 0.8%, or about $90. So things are looking good for the start of this Friday. Even on the commodity side, man, we're seeing silver take a huge jump this morning, up 4.25%. They have surpassed over $20 an ounce to $20.27. Gold's following right behind them, up 1.8%. And then the one we don't like to see going up is crude oil. Crude oil is taking a huge jump this morning, up 4.2% to $91.86 a barrel. Expect gas prices to follow right behind it. I know there's been talk of a diesel shortage. I think that may be putting some pressure on oil as well as we get ready to start the day. Europe is all green. They're liking what they're seeing too across the board. Asia, for the most part, is green except for Japan and the Nikkei. They're down about 1.7%. So as we get started, let me mention this real quick, because we are seeing some of the highest yields that I can remember seeing on the treasuries. We got the government 2-year treasury is right now trading at a yield of 4.76%, and the 30-year is at 4.25%. So interest rates and yields are heading up continually. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. And hey, look, if you don't know how much risk you have in your current portfolio, that can be a problem. It's the one thing that you can control. Give us a call at 863-382-0037. Get your core retirement design. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730, 95.3 FM.
All right, Phillip. Well, it's nice to know that I contributed to Hershey's bottom line. Yes.
As long as you didn't help out,
them.
as long as you didn't help out DraftKings, we're good.
No, nothing there, but definitely helped out Hershey. Well, have a good weekend, Phillip. Thanks.
All right, buddy, you too.
We'll talk to you on Monday. All right, thanks.
All right, good chatting with you.
This is your captain speaking.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. It is the first weekend coming up here of November. Hope you'll join us at the Artley Festival. Should be fun. Let me just put a plug in here now. Our Kiwanis Club is having a pancake breakfast tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 10:30 down on Center Street. So join us then. Hey, until Monday, have a great weekend. Bye now.